Donald Trump and Joe Biden are the two persons who are most talked about these days. But why? Because they are running for the post of the President of the United States of America. But before we get on to discussing the various election campaigns and the controversial issues of the time, I would like to ask you, are you aware of the US presidential elections process? Well, don't panic. I will explain you how the President of the United States is elected in this video. So make sure that you watch this complete video, like, share, comment, subscribe to my channel, and do hit the bell icon. So, are you guys ready? Fantastic! Let's get started. Hello and a very warm welcome to the Grapevine, the best place for you to be informed. My name is Shaurya Joshi and today I will be explaining the entire process of the US presidential elections from the beginning to the end. So, with today's video, I will be screening a collection of the US presidential elections with as many as 4 episodes. So make sure that you are a part of it and make sure that you become my travel companion of the series. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Now, why are the US presidential elections so important? Because the United States of America is the most powerful country in the world, and the leader of this country, the President of America, will be leading a global superpower and the largest economy in the world. So it is very important for all of us to know who will be the next president of USA. Before we get on to discussing how the elections in US are held, first of all, let us understand the difference between the Indian government and the US government. The first difference. Who is the most powerful person in India and USA? In India, the Prime Minister has a lot of powers. In the United States, the President is the most powerful person. Which means that in India, the Prime Minister is the leader of the executive of the government of India. He is the real executive. The President of India has nominal powers and he is just the head of the state. But in USA, the President is not only the head of the state, but he also is the leader of the executive branch of the country. This was the first major difference. The second major difference. Now in India, general elections are held every 5 years, which means the Prime Minister holds the office only for 5 years. But in USA, the presidential elections are held every 4 years. The President holds the office only for 4 years because the last time US elections were held were in 2016, and that is the reason why this year we have the elections again in 2020. Now, the third difference. Which body makes laws in India and USA? In India, we are all very well aware that the Parliament is the supreme legislative body. In USA, the Congress is the supreme legislative body. Now, don't confuse the Congress of USA with the Congress of India. The Congress in the USA is not a political party, it is the supreme legislative body of USA. The two political parties in USA are the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. So just like the Parliament in India, we have the Congress in the United States. Now the Parliament in India has 2 houses, the Lok Sabha lower house, and the Parliament also has Rajya Sabha, the upper house. Similarly, the Congress in USA has 2 chambers, House of Representatives, the lower house, and the Senate, the upper house. Now, here lies the difference. After every general election, the party in India which wins the majority seats in Lok Sabha forms the government and the leader of that party becomes the Prime Minister. But in the United States, the Congress has nothing to do with the presidential elections. So how is the President of USA elected? Well, I will explain this to you in 3 simple steps. Number 1, primaries and caucuses. Number 2, national conventions, and number 3, that is the elections. Now, the first part of the US presidential elections is primaries and caucuses. So there are 50 states in the United States of America. Some states they hold, primary elections, some states hold caucuses, while some they use a combination of both. So basically, what does this mean? This means that a state's primary election or caucus is an indirect election, which means they do not directly elect a person or a candidate to run for the president. They elect delegates, and these delegates, they determine the presidential nominees. So basically, primaries and caucuses, they determine the delegates of each party. Now, as I said, some parties hold primary elections, some parties hold caucuses. What does this mean? There are two different ways to elect the delegates. Through the primaries, what happens in general is that the political party members, they use secret ballot voting to select their delegates. In caucuses, there are informal gatherings of the political party members to select their delegates. So basically, primary and caucuses, they elect the delegates, and the delegates choose the candidates who would run for the president, and the delegates, choose the candidates who would, become the presidential nominees. And these delegates are elected through the process of primaries and caucuses. Now, we will talk about the national conventions. This is what a national convention looks like. You can see people waving their hands, you can see and feel the intensity, the excitement. Well, this is not any live rock concert, you must know. This is a picture of the national conventions in the United States of America. So after the primaries and caucuses, the party holds national conventions in the country, and the delegates of these parties from different states of the country, they attend these national conventions to determine the presidential nominee. So what happens is that these delegates of each party, they determine a presidential nominee from their party to represent their party and run for the president. Which means, for example, a Republican National Convention, the delegates of the Republican Party will, determine a person, a candidate who will run for the president and represent their party in the presidential elections. And soon after the presidential nominees are determined, are announced, these presidential nominees like Trump and Joe Biden announce their running mates, the vice president nominees. Now, the elections in USA will take place on 3rd of November 2020. And the general public will cast their vote, but they will not vote directly for the president. They will vote to elect the electors. Who are these electors now? The parties, each party of the United States, they choose candidates from different states of the United States of America, and the general public casts their vote to elect these electors, because these electors, they go on to vote for the president. So we say it is an indirect elections. The general public elects the electors, and these electors who constitute the Electoral College, they elect the President of America. But the number of electors from each state varies. Why? Because of the population of each state in the USA also varies. Like California is more populated than Florida, so California has 55 electors, Florida has only 29 electors. In total, the USA has 538 electors. They constitute the Electoral College. Now let me give you an example. Let A be an elector from the Democratic Party and let B be an elector from the Republican Party. If you are a US citizen and if you vote for A, elector A from the Democratic Party, it would mean that you are voting for Joe Biden. But if you vote for B elector from the Republican Party, it would mean that you are voting for Donald Trump, because B elector will then go on to elect the President of America, Donald Trump. So these elected electors, they further cast their vote the following general elections, and that is how the President and Vice President of the USA are chosen. So this was all about the US presidential elections. I hope you liked this video. With this, I will continue to screen a collection of US presidential elections with as many as 4 episodes. So make sure that you watch all these episodes. Please like, share this video with all your friends and family, comment on my video, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. That's all for today. I really hope you like this video. Thank you so much. See you later.